And here we are in the soon-to-be spring of New England, which hasn't happened yet and probably won't happen for another 4 months.
Yep.
Sometime around August. Mm-hmm. We're back. Scissors and Scrubs. I'm Nicole.
I'm Laura.
And we are going to cover spring break.
My nightmare.
Yeah. Do you ever go on spring break?
No.
You know what?
No.
Oh, now you know my mom. Mm-hmm. You know my mom. She okayed me, senior in high school, Cancun. Oof. I can honestly say to this day, I've never had so much to drink in my life.
Yeah.
And to the point that one night I was so sick, I'm in bed, I can't get out of the bed. And the girls I were with were like, nope, we're going out. And I'm like, no, I'm done. And they're like, no, we're going out. Dragged me out of the bed. I was crawling on the disgusting Mexican ground, crawling on my hands and knees. They poured a couple of lime Ricky margaritas or something. They were amazing. Oh, I was dancing on the tables by the end of the night.
Yeah,
I don't know how I didn't die down
18,
there.
you can.
I really did. Honest to God, you can. You can bounce back in a second. Yeah. But I came back from between all the vomiting and not eating because the food down there was not good. Not good. Even the McDonald's. No. Nope, food was not good. I looked rough. Yeah. When I came back, my mom's like, I didn't even recognize you. And I still can't believe she allowed me to go on that. So, we're going to talk about spring break. Spring. You ever wonder where spring break came from?
I always wondered.
I knew you did. So let me tell you where it came from. All right. According to Time magazine, spring break is thought to have started with Colgate University's swimming coach, Sam Ingram. In 1936, this is how far back we're talking, he brought his swim team to Fort Lauderdale to train at the casino pool, which I'm sure in 1936 was something. It was the first Olympic-sized swimming pool in Florida.
Really?
The casino pool. 1938, the city, sensing a great marketing opportunity, hosted the first college coaches swim forum at Casino Pool.
It caught on like wildfire.
It was something. So now the tradition, and you know what? It's all swimmers. You know,
all guys,
love a swimmer's body.
All
swimmers,
day. All week.
Yummy.
I was a swimmer.
I don't like, I'm males.
No, I'm saying, so I got to enjoy
I will say Phelps, his body's weird. He's got a weird, it's
what
makes it,
body.
I get why he's a winner, but it's not, he's weird looking. Okay. So in 1938, 300 swimmers were competing at the event. The tradition of college swimmers going to Fort Lauderdale continues into the 1960s.
Wow.
April of 1959, Time writes an article called Beer in the Beach. Oh. This is so ingenious. Beer in the Beach. 2 years later, the spring break themed movie, Where the Boys Are, was released. It's set in Fort Lauderdale. It is... Do you know who George Hamilton is? Yeah. He's like
the Wicked Town.
12 years old in it. That's how long. He was the hunk-a-dunk in the movie. Yeah. George Hamilton. Where the Boys Are. Connie Francis, I think, does the song. Yeah.
I don't know.
We should do a story on her because I believe at one point she was, somebody broke into her hotel room and did a job on her. Yeah. 1970s, spring break gets a little raunchier and you start seeing balcony diving coming up with spring break.
And that's when it went all downhill.
All the hair that you had in the 70s? Those bikinis?
Yeah.
Yeah. And all the beards and the hair and the patchouli oil. Okay. By 1985, you're up to about 370,000 students would hit Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale was like the place. I remember being little and like my friends' siblings were in high school and it was like Fort Lauderdale was the place to go.
Well, it's such the place to go. It's called Fort Lickerdale. Oh. And a movie Spring Break starring Tom Cruise and Shelley Long. How hot up was he? This must have been before, I guess it was right after Top Gun because Shelley Long, that's released. By the end of the 80s, the mayor is done with spring break, done with all these people, and he goes on Good Morning America. Ooh, page flip. And he basically tells the students, don't come down here anymore. We're done.
We don't want you.
We're done. So this pushes spring break to places outside the United States where the drinking ages are lower. So now you're seeing people in Cancun, you're seeing people in Bahamas where it's like 18. Now it's going to get worse. 1986, you're going to like this, Laura. What do you think happens in 1986 for spring break that we would know?
1986 for spring break that we would know?
MTV launches its first spring break special.
I wasn't allowed to watch MTV in 1986.
1986. Yep.
I was
remember
only 7.
the first day it came out.
Mm-hmm.
So now they start. The AMA, the American Medical Association, is warning about the dangers of binge drinking and risky sexual behavior. Mm-hmm. Also, you're seeing women during pre-break doing pre-break anorexia challenges to see how skinny they can get before they.
Well, you got to look good in your bikini,
right? Yeah. So just keep throwing up because your teeth will be gorgeous,
right? Well, you can just smile the fake smile.
Yeah. We could do some radium on your teeth and make them glow. Mm-hmm. And now, Pop-Up's Girls Gone Wild shows up as well.
Wow.
Yes. Which eventually sees the creator, Joe Francis, jailed for filming underage girls naked. Yeah. God bless. So it's still in force today, with students spending an average of about $1,100 for a 7-night trip to San Padre Island, Cancun, Bahamas, everywhere. Yeah. And with spring break comes a ridiculous amount of dangers and accidents, and that's what we're here for. Okay. This is what Scissors and Scrubs does. We ruin everything.
Ruin everything.
Laura, take it away.
Okay, I'm going to talk about alcohol poisoning.
Mm-hmm. Hand in hand with spring break.
Yeah. Number one thing that probably goes wrong on spring break. Alcohol poisoning is a serious and deadly consequence of drinking large amounts of alcohol in a short period of time. Drinking like this can affect your breathing, heart rate, body temperature, and gag reflex, and can lead to coma and death.
Awesome.
Yeah. It can also occur in adults and children accidentally or intentionally drinking household products that contain alcohol.
Like NyQuil, like Listerine.
Yeah, or cleaning supplies. Like if a kid got a cleaning supply that has alcohol in it, you can become intoxicated, and those will have, the same.
Fuck, would you do that?
By accident. Like a little kid.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Or person.
I thought like somebody's like they couldn't afford wild turkey, so they're like shooting down some Listerine.
Yeah. A person with alcohol poisoning needs immediate medical attention. It's
like immediate.
Serious. Mm-hmm. Signs and symptoms are confusion, vomiting, seizures, slow respiratory rate, which means you're breathing less than 8 times a minute. Irregular breathing. There's like a gap of 10 or more seconds between breaths. Mm-hmm. They take a breath and then you're like, okay, when's the next one coming?
Also known as agonal.
Yeah. Blue tinged or pale skin, hypothermia, and passing out and then unable to be awakened. Some people, you pass out, but someone shakes
you should be rousable.
You can wake up and talk. You should seek immediate medical care if you suspect someone has alcohol poisoning, even if they don't have all the signs and symptoms. If you see them downing drink after drink,
it's
8,
coming.
9 drinks in an hour and they're acting off, just take them. It's going to be bad. If a person is just unconscious and unable to be awakened, they are at risk for dying. So even if they didn't throw up, even if they didn't do this, if you can't wake them up, it is close. It's bad. Call 911. Don't assume they'll sleep it off. If you can't get them up, call 911.
Right.
They should always be able to be awakened. Be prepared to give info like what kind of alcohol they had, how much, when they had it, when's the last time they had a drink. Don't leave an unconscious person alone. Right. Because you have no gag reflex now if you're at this point, and so
you throw up, you're going to choke.
When you vomit, you're choking on your own vomit, and you can die that way. Also, don't make an unconscious person vomit. If someone's unconscious on the floor and you can't wake them up, don't put your fingers down their throat because they're still going to aspirate it. Help a person who is vomiting. Try to keep them upright. Don't let them lay down and vomit.
Put them on their side.
If you can't get them up, sitting up or standing up, make sure their head is turned to the side so it's coming out of their mouth, not back into their lungs. And try to keep them awake. Mm-hmm. Slap them.
And call 911.
Yeah. The causes of alcohol poisoning. Alcohol in the form of ethanol can be found in alcoholic beverages, mouthwash, cooking extracts, some medications, and certain household products. Ethanol poisoning usually occurs from drinking too much in a short time. Other forms of alcohol, including isopropyl, which is found in lotion, rubbing alcohol, and household cleaners, and methanol or ethylene glycol, which is found in antifreeze, paints, and solvents, can cause other toxic poisoning that requires emergency treatment. Binge drinking is the major cause of alcohol poisoning. It's a pattern of heavy drinking. When a male consumes 5 or more drinks within 2 hours, or a female consumes at least 4 drinks within 2 hours, you can consume a fatal dose before you pass out.
Yeah, so because what people don't realize is when you're ingesting it, it takes a while to process it. So you can suck down 5 drinks before you feel the first drink.
Right.
And then it's only going to continue to get worse because it's still digesting all that booze in your body.
Right. Even when you're unconscious or you stop drinking. You have 8 drinks.
Right. Your body's still processing it.
The alcohol continues to be released from your stomach and intestines. It continues to come out. So you're not done. Your body is just getting started. So doing shot after shot after shot after shot, that's why you kill yourself, because you've consumed so much and your body's going to process it and shut you down. Right. Your level of alcohol continues to rise even when you're done. Unlike food, which can take hours to digest, alcohol is absorbed quickly, and it takes longer for your body to get rid of it. So it's circulating and circulating and circulating. The more you drink in a short period of time, the greater your chances of alcohol poisoning. 1 drink is defined as 12 ounces of regular beer, 8 to 9 ounces of malt liquor, 5 ounces of wine, or 1.5 ounces of 80 proof hard liquor, like shots. It's only 1.5 ounces. Mixed drinks can have more than 1 serving of alcohol, and they take longer to metabolize. Risk factors of alcohol poisoning: the size and weight of the person, their overall health, if they've recently eaten or not, if you're combining it with drugs, the percentage of alcohol in your drinks, the rate and amount of consumption, and the person's tolerance level. Complications. Choking, stopping breathing, severe dehydration, which decreases your blood pressure and increases your heart rate. Seizures, your blood sugar plummets and it causes seizures. Hypothermia.
I'm surprised your blood sugar plummets because there's so much sugar in
them.
booze.
I don't know if it's because the way you're metabolizing it. I don't know. Hypothermia can lead to cardiac arrest, irregular heartbeat, brain damage, and death. And you can die from any of those things that I just mentioned. Prevention of alcohol poisoning is to drink in moderation, 1 drink per day for women and anyone over 65, 2 drinks per day for men.
Okay, that's obviously never happening in spring break.
And enjoy your drink slowly. You don't need to chug them. Don't drink on an empty stomach. Food can help slow alcohol absorption, although it won't prevent alcohol poisoning. It can help you out a little bit. Communicate with your kids. Tell them the danger of binge drinking. Evidence suggests kids who are warned are less likely to drink, or at least drink heavily. Store products safely. If you have small kids in your home, store lotions, cosmetics, mouthwash, and medications out of reach. Use childproof cabinets so they can't get household products. Keep toxic items in a safe storage area, out of reach of a child, and lock up your alcohol. You have to get follow-up care. If you or your child get alcohol poisoning, be sure to ask for follow-up care. A mental health professional can help prevent future binge drinking so it doesn't become a constant problem. Treatments for binge drinking are careful monitoring. They're going to watch you. They're going to watch you like a hawk so you don't choke and die. Prevention of
they might pump
breathing or choking problems, oxygen therapy, IVs, vitamins and glucose.
The banana bag.
Yep. People who have ingested methanol or isopropyl may need dialysis, which is a mechanical way of filtering toxins from your blood.
Shut your kidneys down.
Yep, because it can remove it quickly. Do not give the person coffee or a cold shower. It will not help. It could make them worse. The cold shower, especially because you're going into hypothermia. I know it's like, but don't do it. It's not going to do anything. And I got all that information from MayoClinic.com.
So we're talking binge drinking in the context of you're 18 years old, you're going on spring break, you're going to Cancun, you can drink at 18, you probably never really drank like you can down there.
Right.
And
because you can do it freely all day long.
You're 5'2", you're 100 pounds, and you've had 15 tequila shots in an hour. Bad news. So a couple of tips. My brother, who I don't always listen to, who in the Marine Corps had his share of drinking, used to say always leave somebody home in your head. And they're right. You can drink, you can have a good time, you can party, but you don't want to drink so much. You have no idea what you're doing. And you want to have enough wherewithal that you can see if your friends are having a problem.
Right.
I was always the person checking and make sure nobody was having a problem. Had a good time.
Yeah.
I've had my share of, having a great time drinking and I never blacked out. And you you have to pace yourself.
Yeah.
People don't realize it takes a while to digest. Don't have 15 shots of tequila. Have 2.
Right.
If you feel you need, have 3. You're going to still get a good buzz going on. Wait an hour.
Yeah.
Wait an hour and a half. Have 2 more if you
Right.
feel the need. But pace yourself. They just put it all at once, and then it's going to ruin your night anyway.
Right.
Your
You're
night's
not
going to be
gonna
over
have
in an
fun.
hour.
Yeah.
All right. Done preaching. So now we're just going to tell you a couple horrible stories.
Yep.
Okay. We're going to start with 19-year-old Alexis Carroll of Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay.
She's down at Daytona Beach.
Ooh,
for
that's
spring
a
break.
good one. That's a 1981.
Oh, God. That's a driving in your Trans Am on the beach. Like White Snake, your hair's blowing in the wind. Yep. She and her boyfriend, Tyler Bell, are staying in room 602 at the Holiday Inn.
Okay.
Guests in room 601 can hear these two having a row, screaming at each other. At one point, Alexis is heard saying, tell me I won't. Go ahead, tell me I won't. Tell me I won't. So
Never words you want.
yeah. Go ahead, tell me I won't.
It doesn't lead to anything good.
Yeah. So room 602 calls the front desk, and a few witnesses actually see Alexis squatting on the balcony at this point. And while she's squatting, she's yelling, tell me I won't, tell me I won't, right? So security comes out, checks out what's going on, and by this time, Tyler's gotten her off the balcony. And they say, like, look, your neighbors are calling, you got to settle down, no more screaming, blah, blah, blah. Pisses Alexis off. She now is hanging over the balcony, screaming at the people who called security, mind your own goddamn business, it's nothing to do with you, blah, 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 blah. Below Alexis and Tyler are another couple who can hear her screaming, and they're like, this is enough. It's Stanley Crockett and his girlfriend. They hear what's going on. They go down to the front desk. They call the front desk. I don't know how, but Alexis hears that they're down at the desk. She goes down to the desk and confronts them. Like, again, mind your own business. Well, she spits at the girlfriend, who's an off-duty cop.
Okay.
All right. It's not going well for Alexis.
No.
Somehow Tyler talks them all off the cliff because I'm sure they were going to, like, punch her in the face.
Yeah.
Gets her back up to the room. He gets her in. They go back to the room. Moments after getting back in the room, you can hear Tyler screaming, don't do that, don't do that. And witnesses report that Alexis is again leaning over the balcony. Some people have seen her take like 5 like joke running starts, and then she over the balcony she goes, lands in front of the security guard who's walking the perimeter of the building. Yeah. Needless to say, she died.
Yeah.
And after review of the videotapes, the boyfriend's cleared of any wrongdoing.
I know, that's what you get nervous.
She clearly
Just
did this
it.
on her own. They have not said whether alcohol or not was involved. I don't know what sane person would take a running leap off a balcony, but that's me.
Yeah.
Then we have 20-year-old Nereida Cruz. I know I'm saying her first name wrong. Nereida. I'm going to go with Nereida.
Okay.
She's a nursing student at Texas Southmost College. And she's on spring break at St. Padre Island, which I hear is quite the place to go for spring break.
I think that's where my friend went.
She turned 21 12 days before this incident.
Okay.
And this one, alcohol is not involved. It's like 9 o'clock in the morning. She's perched on the balcony. She's hanging out. She goes to readjust. Off the balcony she goes. Dies.
Oh my God.
Dies. Could you imagine talking to your friend?
No, and then
And
she's
they
gone.
go off the 7th floor balcony
can't,
just
no.
because they missed the rearrangement. Like, I can't. Oh, why are you sitting on the edge?
Why would you ever sit on the edge of a balcony? Like, I mean, God love her. The poor girl didn't mean it, but why? What would I think? You couldn't get me to lean over it. I just
Most
can't.
people don't realize my deathly afraid of heights. I am deathly afraid of heights. We go to P-Town, and you know that stupid tower?
Yeah.
I've got to climb it. The kids want to climb it.
Well, you get it.
By the time we get to the top, I can barely speak because I am terrified. And I'm glued to the side of the building, and I'm scaling it like a crab. I won't look over the edge. I'm like, okay, we're done. We go. Okay, we go. You guys ready? We're done. No. I think we're done. I think we're done. I think we need to go. I think we're done. There's no fucking way I'm sitting on the edge of a balcony or railing or anywhere where I could plummet to my death. That is never happening. And if it is, it's because I've been drinking and I'm out of my mind.
Yeah. I just can't. Okay.
I can't fathom.
No.
Then we have Ahmed Altai. Ahmed. He's from Dearborn, Michigan. He's studying business at Henry Ford College. I thought that would be just how to make eyes. And he's on spring break in Cancun. Quite a place. Girlfriend of 18 months, Heidi Newman.
Okay.
Heidi Newman. The accident occurs on, again, the 7th floor of the hotel around 9 p.m. His girlfriend confirms they've been drinking all day. It's not clear what happens immediately prior to the accident, but the video shows him sitting on a balcony and another guy, shit-faced, and bumps into him. And off the balcony he goes. Dies on impact.
Yeah.
It just keeps getting better, guys. I'm just going to tell you. Just spring break keeps getting better.
Here's my thing. You're on spring break. Get out of the goddamn hotel. Go down the beach and hang out.
We used to go
Lock
to Myrtle
the
Beach.
balcony doors. Don't open them.
We drank on the beach.
On the beach.
Wild turkey shots. Wild turkey is like drinking acid. Unadulterated acid. And we'd chase it with a lemon because the taste was so nasty.
Yeah, gotta get out of your mouth.
And the thing I take away from it, so we're walking Myrtle Beach, right? We're in our little shorts. It's 4th of July, you know. I'm tall. The girl I'm with is not. And we have to walk across like a drainage ditch to get there that's leading into the ocean. Okay. I am tall. I lift up the edge of my shorts and I walk across. And she's like, do you think I can do it? And I've had, like 5 shots of wild. I'm like, you're fine. You're fine.
I just did it.
She was up to her nipples.
Oh my God. So come on.
In the drainage ditch. Walking across. I'm like, oh, yeah. Forgot you had like 5'2". She was wet the rest of the night. She was not happy with me. San, I'm sorry. It was the wild turkey. It wasn't me. Ugh. I can't even believe. I wouldn't even smell that shit now, let alone drink it. Yep. All right. That moves us on to Mariah Michelle Logan. This is my last horrible story.
Okay.
She's a 23-year-old from Chicago. She's in Miami during spring break, but she's actually celebrating a friend's birthday.
Okay.
They're only there for like 3 days, so they're partying, they're clubbing, they're living it up. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I don't know why you would get a 5 a.m. flight. But they've got a 5 a.m. flight on March 17th.
Probably cheap or something.
Right. And it doesn't say, did they stay up all night? I don't know if they were drinking. I'm assuming alcohol's involved, but I don't know if it was. So it's St. Patty's Day, 5 a.m. They're driving their rented Hyundai. I don't know why I had to put in that detail, but it's a rented
very
Hyundai
important.
to the airport. It's crucial to the story. Michelle's hanging out the rear passenger window of his best friend's ride, trying to holler at me, and she's yelling, "Bye, Miami!" She falls out the back window. The Land Rover behind her runs right over her. Stops, looks, peels rubber. He's gone. She's dead.
Oh my God.
Killed. Police cannot find the guy who did it. They cannot confirm whether alcohol was involved. She's just being a stupid 20, like, who hasn't done something stupid like that? Out the window, run over by a car.
That's awful.
It's awful.
That's awful.
Awful.
Oh my! And she was gone. Like she was going home. Like she was done.
She could have been on a plane in an hour.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's awful.
So yeah, that's my lovely spring break story.
Yep. So I have just one story, but it's told from like a mother's point of view.
Should I get tissues?
No, I mean it's all right. It was on grownandflown.com.
Grown and flown.
Grown and flown.
Leaving the nest.
It was
Grown and flown.
by this woman, Lynn. So Lynn and her husband Joe had just started dinner on a Sunday night. They had a great weekend seeing their twin 20-year-old sons. Sunday morning, the boys left early to catch a flight to Cabo for spring break.
Twins.
Yeah. Lynn and Joe were worried about them. They had stayed up all night doing like work that they had to do over spring break, but they knew they would never get to because they were going away. They got up wicked early. They hadn't eaten because they got up so early. They just wanted to get on the road.
They were driving to Cabo San Lucas?
No, they were driving to wherever the airport was. But Lynn and Joe had talked to them the night before. They had gone out for dinner and had like a great night. And they just told them, stay together, keep your eyes and ears open, watch out for each other. Just what everybody says to their kids.
Be cool.
Yeah. So Joe was upstairs and Lynn's cell phone rings. But it was an unknown number, from like another state. So she just ignores it.
Which means if it was Brian, he would never answer it and my kids would be dead and nobody would know because Brian would never pick up that line.
Well, she doesn't. She doesn't answer. She like it's a telemarketer or something.
I always pick it up.
My kids aren't with or if I don't know where they are, if they're away, if they're not with me and a number calls, I answer it.
Me too. Yeah. Me too. Thank you, because we're mothers and that's what we do. Yeah. I'm not saying that she is.
No. But just, telemarketers.
And they're 20, so she's not really like on the radar.
So then she gets a text that says, Lynn, can you please call me? It's a medical emergency regarding Riley, which is one of the twins.
Who's it from?
It's just from this number. So she screams.
I would have a stroke.
Throws the phone, like, across the table. Joe comes running down from upstairs, like, panicked. Like, what's wrong? What is it? And she's like, it's Riley. There's been some sort of accident. And she said she was beyond consoling. Like, she couldn't.
She doesn't even know what happened.
This is
yet.
immediate. She doesn't
even know what happened yet.
But she said, okay, we know we have to call them. But she's like, they couldn't dial the number. Like, they were too afraid to call to see what it was. So they're dreading it. They call it back. The kid that answers, she said, you could tell was really uncomfortable. He's not giving them any straight answers. So they eventually just screamed at him, is Riley dead or alive? Is he dead or alive?
Yeah.
And he said he wasn't sure what happened, but wanted to contact them as soon as possible, blah, 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 blah. Still not really answering them. And they scream, spit it out. Like, they're screaming at this kid now. So he says he was taken to the hospital, but he didn't know his status. And he would call the hospital for them and call them back.
No, don't bother because I'm going to be on a plane.
Well, she didn't know where he was. They're in another country. They're in Mexico.
Which is worse.
Yeah.
Could you imagine a kid getting hurt in Mexico?
No. So they hang up the phone from him. He's calling the hospital for them. She said they fell to their knees. They started praying. They started saying a mantra. You know, it's their thing. But they said it's like they just kept saying when he called back, he's going to say Riley is stable. Riley is stable. Riley is. So they just kept saying it like over and over and over. She said, you know how people say like, oh, your life flashes before your eyes. She said Riley's life flashed before her eyes. She pictured him as a baby. She pictured him in his Little League uniform. She pictures him in his Winnie the Pooh Halloween costume. You know, like she just kept playing pictures in her mind of him. The phone rings and they tell him Riley is stable but in critical condition. They have no idea how he was injured at this point. Then they're told he fell from a 4th-story balcony. A security guard heard a thump, went out looking because he's like, what was that noise? And found him on top of a car on the 1st floor parking lot. Yeah. He was intubated at the scene, taken to the hospital.
In Mexico.
Yeah. He was in the hospital within an hour of it happening. They said he never stopped breathing on his own, though. Okay. So that's good.
Good, yeah.
Yeah. So the tour group that the kids booked through, they helped Lynn and Joe make arrangements to get to Mexico the next morning. I just can't even fathom. You know, your son fell from a 4th-story balcony. He's in some hospital, intubated and sedated
in Mexico,
in another country, and you can't get to him until then. I just can't even imagine.
I would be beside myself.
They obviously never slept. The heads were spinning, and Lynn decided to just focus on picturing him alive, well, laughing, full of life. She said the only thing she could control were her thoughts. Like, she couldn't do anything. She couldn't get to him. She couldn't get there.
I wouldn't even be able to control my thoughts.
I can't even imagine, no. So the tour group meets them at the airport and gets them right to the hospital. They were, like, terrified of what they're going to see. Your son just fell off a 4th-story balcony. Is he paralyzed? Is he a vegetable? You know, is he recognizable? Whatever. So he's in the ICU, so only one could go in at a time. So Joe, the husband, goes in first. She's like, I cannot go in, and I'm too afraid to see.
I appreciate that, but there's no way hell would be. There's no way in hell he's going in first. I'm going in, and I'm assessing the situation.
But I also think that's us because we also know what we're looking at and know what we're seeing. Yeah. Where if you're a layperson, and
true, absolutely true.
What difference does it make? And I think she just couldn't. She was too afraid to see what she was going to see. So Joe went in. He comes out and he says, "It's okay. It's Riley." Like he looked like himself and whatever. He had a brain injury. His skull was pressing on his brain and optic nerve, so they couldn't airlift him out to bring him home because of the pressure. So they flew in a neurosurgeon, and he had surgery that evening. The surgeon said it went well. They stayed in Mexico for 5 more days, and she said they're going back and forth from the hospital to hotel, and she said it was like watching The Walking Dead. All of the drunk kids.
Oh yeah,
like all around.
Oh,
she's
Christ,
like, we're sitting there thinking, this could be you. Like he's laying. You know, he just had major brain surgery, and she's like, it was literally watching like zombies walk back and forth. That week alone, there were 2 other balcony falls, and one of those died down in Cabo. Lynn says it's hard to remember that these paradise locations are in third world countries that do not have codes and regulations like the U.S. has.
A lot of the balconies are shorter than ours.
She said they have no height requirement for balcony railings, so most rails are only 2 to 3 feet high. That is below your waist.
And it's off your balance.
Right,
so
because you're thinking it's...
You're top heavy.
Right. She said she's 5'2", and the railing barely made it to her hip at her hotel.
On.
That you're going over. Even if you tripped or there was a bunch of kids out there.
Yeah, you just lean, poop.
Yep. After 5 days, they were airlifted to San Diego Trauma Center. Riley spent another week there and then went home. He's, he had a brain injury, but he's okay.
Was waiting for when he's going to die and being organized.
No, he lived. He's all right. She said, these are the 10 things to do before your kid travels.
Before you tell me that, how is he now?
It doesn't go into it, but I think he's fine. Okay. I think he's completely recovered. She said, these are the 10 things to do before your kid travels for spring break or studies abroad. Mm-hmm. 1, get a passport. She said, luckily they had
a
passports they could use. If you didn't have a passport, then you would have to contact the government. Try to get that to get out of the country to get your kid who's critically injured. She's like, luckily we had him. We could go. So if your kid's not in the country, you need to be able to get out of the country.
You need to get to them.
Mm-hmm.
How about you just go with them? I'll just go with them.
I'll just tidy. I'll stay in a different hotel
while you're doing your thing. I'll pretend I'm a Karen. I'm just going to go make sure you're all set.
If a trip is booked through a travel company, ask for the following: a copy of the agreement, if insurance is included in the cost, if there are any known accidents, incidents, or unsafe conditions at any of the hotels that they endorse. Check your insurance carrier. Check if they cover medical treatment outside of the U.S. Check if...
things you would never think of.
Nope. If they cover medical evacuation. If not, it can cost between $25,000 and $50,000 to medically evacuate somebody from another country.
Holy shit.
So you might want to purchase additional insurance. Make sure you have a credit card with a high spending limit. You may not be able to leave the hospital without a substantial down payment. They had to pay $5,000 before they let him leave that hospital in Mexico.
What are you going to do? Because I'll unplug your shit and carry him out.
I know.
What, are you going to stop it?
Be transferred to a trauma center.
Bring it.
I think it would be.
Bring it. I'll make it happen.
Check that your cell phone coverage has international coverage so they can get in touch with you, because it wasn't her other son that was calling her. It was some random kid.
T-Mobile.
Yeah. Educate your kids on the dangers of international travel.
In balconies.
Yeah. Have other phone numbers. Whoever they went with, get their phone numbers. Have the phone number of the hotel. So you can put them in your phone. Ask for other parents' cell numbers.
In case it's a problem.
Put together a little packet of the whole group in case you can't get a hold of your kid. You can call Karen and, whoever.
Because Karen's going to know where her kid is.
Right. And then she says, have faith and pray, and then practice gratitude. Just be grateful for every day you have.
I can make fun of her praying and her mantra. He's alive.
Oh, hey.
He's alive.
I'm not making fun of him. I'm just
saying. Praise be Jesus. Yeah. He's alive.
Yeah.
Well, when you talk about these zombies, right? So a couple of years ago, Brian and I went out to Vegas in July. Can you imagine how hot it was in July?
That's when we went to Vegas in July.
Yeah, in July. Mm-hmm. And you walk in the Strip. I can honestly say I have never seen people so drunk in my life, because not only are they drunk, they're dehydrated on top of it. They were like zombies. Mm-hmm. One girl came up to me. She couldn't even speak, and she's just like swaying. And I'm like, are you all right?
Right.
And she's like, I'm like, are you all right? And then she stumbled off in another direction. And I'm thinking, you have to know that you're going to be dehydrated on top of this. So you're already going to be woozy. One drink's going to be like 5. Mm-hmm. They were gone.
Yeah.
Gone.
Unbelievable.
Gone. I've never seen anything like it.
Mm-mm. So I have some safety tip sheet for spring break, because I love safety tips.
What do we usually call you? Mishaps?
Yeah, these aren't mishaps. So these are just tip sheets to keep you from having mishaps.
Keep you abreast of
There's like 1,000 of these, though, so I'm probably not going to go through them all.
We'll do a skimmer.
Yeah. So first it starts with on the go. Like when you're traveling, take turns behind the wheel. If you're driving down to Fort Lauderdale, one of you isn't driving 12 hours. Take it, stop every 3 hours and switch out your driver. If you're in the car with the driver, make sure one of you is awake with them all the time. Yeah. Do not all go to sleep and leave the driver by themselves. Someone has
Laura,
to be
do we want to talk about our Myrtle Beach trip? Do we want to talk about the candy?
Well, I had to stay awake with you.
You did. So we're gonna give you a little brief. Most of you have heard it if you know us, but we were going down to Myrtle Beach for a friend's 40th birthday party, and they kept talking about this hurricane that was coming, and this hurricane's coming. And we're like, ugh,
it's fine.
It's fine. We'll be fine. So we take off on our little trip, and Laura's in front with me, and then one of the other nurses is in back, and she had worked the night shift, so she's kind of sleeping on and off. And we pull over like 6 o'clock, I think we were like on the D.C. Virginia border kind of thing. We were
Yeah,
up in the northern part.
Yeah.
It's before Richmond, Virginia.
Yes.
And we're in McDonald's, and everybody's phone goes off, and they're like flooding in this area. Flooding, and Laura's like, "We don't even know where we are. What does it matter where it's from? We don't even know where we are.
We could be right in this area."
And at this point, it's just a couple little raindrops. Ting, 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 ting. We're like, oh, hurricane, schmurricane. What are they talking about?
Normal day.
We get in the car, and we're driving down 95, and then I think the fire hoses opened up because I could not see out my windshield.
No.
And it was... I am sitting on the windshield.
Yeah.
Laura is sitting on the windshield. Yeah. And all you can hear is, as they're eating candy, popping, like, they're popping chocolate so fast, there's sparks coming off of these things, right?
I was stressed.
The nurse in the back's like, she goes sound asleep.
Dead asleep.
In the middle of this whole thing, sound asleep. We're going under underpasses that look like Hawaiian like waterfalls flowing onto 95.
They were literally waterfalls just coming down onto
the water's past my wheels on the highway. I can't even get off the highway because I can't see the exits.
And then there's the assholes that have pulled over.
Yeah.
But you can't see them till you're on top of them.
And then I think I saw a cow go by. I think
it was definitely animals.
I'm pretty sure I saw sparkly red shoes somewhere fly by. It was ridiculous. I needed, like, I was sweating. My nails are on the thing. It was ridiculous. Mm-hmm. When that rain finally ended, and we're calling our girlfriend who's in Myrtle Beach, and she's like, yeah, you're in the eye. You're in the eye right now. Oh, here comes some more rain.
Yeah.
I'm like shitting myself. We get through, and now it's pitch black on 95.
Pitch black.
And I see some police lights way off in the distance. So I get over. Why are the police lights there? Because the entire second lane is covered in trees.
Yeah, they're just
and if
all
the police
falling
weren't
into
there, you would be running them over.
Yeah.
It was a great time.
It was fun.
It was a great time.
But I was a good co-pilot.
She kept me awake.
Stayed awake, and
she kept herself awake with a lot of sugar. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So always make sure one of you is awake. It also says take a map. Everybody relies on like their phone and GPS. You might not have cell service. It might go out. It could die. Just make sure you have an app.
Good old-fashioned Rand McNally.
Before leaving your hotel, take a card from the front desk that has the address and stuff. So if you're out somewhere, you know to get back. Yeah. When you hail a taxi, make sure it is an actual taxi
and not a random guy pretending to be one.
They all have
again. They just
sort of like a badge or a medallion or something. Just check it. Then they said, in hotels, when you check in at the front desk, don't say your room number out loud for everybody to hear. They might, if you're a bunch of girls, you don't say it out loud. Just be discreet. Reserve a room that's above the first floor but below the sixth. First floor rooms are easier to break into, and rooms above the sixth floor are too high for fire ladders to reach.
I say that all the time. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I don't want to stay on the 22nd floor. I want to stay on number 5.
Choose awareness. Find your nearest fire exits and stairwells.
Mm-hmm. We've talked about this episode 3. We've talked about it before.
Yep. Check all the window and door locks to make sure they're secure. Make sure you close the door behind you. You know how sometimes you feel like it's coming behind you, the hotel doors? Make sure it's actually closed when you leave.
Lock them, triple lock them, quadruple lock them.
At the ATM, go in groups.
Do you ever hear that thing, if you put your PIN number in backwards, it locks up the card and alerts the police?
No.
If you're in trouble and somebody's forcing you, you're supposed to put your PIN number in backwards and it alerts the police to that ATM.
Right. It says when you go up to the ATM, do a 360 scan. Mm-hmm. Make sure no one's hanging around, just standing by. Like, be aware of your surroundings. While drinking, be smart, be responsible.
Leave somebody home.
Yep. Before you go out, decide what your limits are going to be. Make your decisions before you go out while you're sober.
And make sure, leave one person. You're the person in charge tonight. Like, don't let me go home with a random guy when you know I don't do that. Or, don't let me get in a random car. Right. Don't let me do something stupid.
Right. Talk about it before you're out.
Make sure everybody's watch out for me.
Aware. Always keep an eye on your drink.
Yes.
Always keep an eye. Don't take a drink that someone gave you. They want to buy you a drink. The bartender can hand you the drink.
And in this day and age, gummies, all that stuff. Don't take, literally, some people like gummy bears. Regular old-fashioned gummy bears. Unless you've seen them open the bag, don't eat them. Yeah. Unless, know what you're eating, know what you're taking.
Yeah. It's reported that 89% of female undergrad sexual assault survivors reported drinking before their assault.
Yep.
Watch what you're drinking. Do not drink from open beverage sources like punch bowls, pitchers, tubs of liquor. Don't drink them.
Punch bowls.
Yeah, I know. Signs and symptoms of predatory drugs are extreme wooziness, confusion, difficulty standing, slurred speech. If you see someone acting like this, get them to a safe place immediately.
But those are all the signs of just boozing too.
Right, but I think it happens more suddenly.
Okay.
Don't drink and drive. Don't binge drink like we already said. Don't try to match your friends. Your friend over here might be able to handle 8 drinks. You might be able to handle 2. Don't worry about what they're drinking. You drink what you can drink. Eat before you drink. And then in the water, don't go out swimming when you're drunk. It's not a good idea.
Don't do it at night when you're drunk.
Take it slow and stay hydrated because you're on the beach, you're laying in the sun, you're drinking. Just stay hydrated. Drink some water. Make sure there's a lifeguard there. Yeah. Because not all beaches have lifeguards.
In some of these places, these other countries, their water's dangerous.
Yeah.
Way more dangerous than ours. And you don't realize it. When I was in Hawaii, not that it's another country, but their water's vicious. And I worked in the hospital, and there was constant tourists coming in with drownings or injuries from being in the water.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You don't know where you are. Like, if you go to the Cape every summer, you know the water down there. You know like even jumping in, like don't dive into the water. You don't know where the rocks are, how shallow it is off this pier. Don't dive, jump, nothing. You don't know the water.
Right.
Be careful about sex. Always get consent.
And want a handwritten 3-page agreement before we do anything?
Yes. Make sure it's protected sex if you have it.
If you haven't listened to the Valentine's Day episode, and you'll know why.
Yeah, just do it anyways. And I think that's about it.
All right.
That wraps it up, I think.
If you get any spring break stories, send them my way because, we'll always have another episode next year for spring break, or maybe we'll just cover it over the summer. Part of the summer series.
The high school, Jack's high school, the seniors, a lot of the seniors go on a trip right after graduation to like Aruba or somewhere. And I'm like, oh, well, I don't know. Maybe we're going on a family vacation. Because the thought
of him being down there
makes me so physically ill. I don't know how I'll survive. I do not know how I will live through a week knowing that that's what down there.
I'll
be
binge drinking.
Yeah.
No, I'm good.
No, I'll have to be medicated all. Oh my God.
It's terrifying. And like I said, I can't believe my mother was like, yeah, go ahead, go. I'm like, oh my God, I would never have let my kid go.
I know.
Are you out of your mind, lady?
Well, my mother was just saying today, because I said we were talking about that senior trip. She's like, yeah, you guys didn't go. On the news, like the year before, it had all these kids down there that had booked hotels. And the companies just took their money and they didn't actually have rooms. And they were all like outside, nowhere to stay, nowhere to sleep, had all their bags. They were like standing at airports. Like they couldn't.
Could you imagine?
No, like all these they're teenagers. They're all these teenagers like in a foreign country with nowhere to go. So we're like, yeah, okay, we're not going to spring break.
Holy shit.
So just, make sure everything's on the up and up.
Have fun, but be careful.
Yeah.
Leave somebody home in the head. Don't try to match your friends.
Nope.
Watch who you're sleeping with.
Yeah.
And
be
have
safe.
fun.
Have fun.
Yay! Oh, hey, and send us some reviews so we can get you some stickers.
Yeah. Like, subscribe, rate, and review the Scissors and Scrubs podcast on whatever podcast app you listen to us on. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Scissors and Scrubs. And email us any of your stories or thoughts to scissorsnscrubs@gmail.com.